The wind,
Yes, I can hear you.
the rain slowed down up there.
Yeah, I'm at the office actually.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
It looked like it slowed down here too.
Yeah.
The water receded a little bit too.
Yeah, it was pretty some of the streets were pretty flooded on my way here, but it's not bad now.
You heard the alert go out, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. They said about 1 o'clock should
hmm
be, unless another one comes.
hmm
That's a huge storm.
Yeah, it is. And it's slow moving too.
Hmm. I've been listening to St. Peter. This very cryptic. It's been many years since I listened to it.
Oh, the Mystic Order St. Peter recordings?
Hmm?
The Mystic Order St. Peter recordings? Yeah.
Yeah.
See if this thing is working here. Okay. Just gonna wait a few more minutes, then I'll start
I went back to my original format. I put everything in that.
in one book.
Yeah, I'm gonna do 2 volumes instead of three.
Okay. Why
So
did you make the change?
so it's 390 pages so far.
Why did you decide to change it back to two?
It just didn't make it's to break it up. It's like, it's just not enough, information. You know what I mean?
Hmm. Okay. Let's see if get the chat window up here. Okay.
We're going to get ready. How are you guys doing today?
All right, let's go ahead and start today's session. All right, let's open up with prayer for the spiritual workers, and then we'll go into some announcements. Prayer for spiritual workers. Almighty God, I bless all those who, because of their limitations, would smite me. Almighty God, I bless all those who, because of their weakness, would not heed me. Almighty God, I bless all those who, because of their ignorance, would defile you through me. And I ask, Almighty God, O wondrous power, that your strength may be given to me now, so that I might be fortified by this, so that I might go forward bravely into the world, and despite reception, send forth my love of thee throughout all races of man. Almighty God, give me the power and strength to rise above my karmic weakness, the deficiencies in the pattern of my evolution, so that I might evolve and become stronger, I, and even stronger in thy everlasting light. O God, thy will be done. All right, welcome everyone to another session. We will continue our study of and celebration of the release of Mr. Nehemiah Davis's new book, The Miracle Kit Behind the Power of Prayer, The Mystic Knowledge of Manipulating Subtle and Cosmic Energies of Prana Through Prayer Techniques. The book is currently available on Amazon, so you can purchase a copy there. I think both digital and physical copies. And if you are interested in procuring an autographed copy, you can send us an email. We can coordinate that with you, and we can get the author to sign a copy and send it back to you. Today we will continue reading the text. We finished chapter 7 last time, so today we'll be on chapter 8, where we'll start a study of the mudras, the mudra yoga that is used in the miracle prayer kit. And that is chapter 8. Once we finish chapter 8, we'll then move into 10 and 11. And then we'll finish up with a final review and Q&A session. And we'll leave chapter 9, which actually goes into the mystic prayer technique, for an offline seminar and prayer symposium. We will actually put the technique into practice, and we'll use several of the prayers, including the 12 blessings given to us through the Aether Society, and in part of that in that session. Details about that in-person seminar will be coming up shortly. For the Florida group, we will continue with our regular services on Thursdays at 8 p.m. These are weekly 12 blessing services. You're free to join us in person or via Zoom. And we'll also hold our regular commemoration services throughout the year. For more information about the Florida group at their society, you can connect with us via on MeetUp. So if you go to meetup.com and search for South Florida Society group, our group should pop up. All right, and as per usual, throughout today's session, if you have any questions or comments, excuse me, you can feel free to post them in the chat. And as I'm reading along, I'll periodically stop at certain sections and browse through the chat to see if there are any questions, and we'll pose those questions and hopefully get them answered for you. There is a tropical storm ongoing right here in South Florida. So if I lose connection or have any issues, I do apologize for that. And I'll try my best to get back on as soon as possible. It looks like the worst of it should be over for now. So hopefully everything will be okay for the remainder of today's session. And if you have any questions or comments that you would like us to address privately or that unable to get to during today's session, you can feel free to email us at Mystic Knowledge Center, all one word, at gmail.com, and we will do our best to answer you via email. All right, so before we start today's sessions, do we have any questions, comments? If not, then let's go ahead and dive into chapter 8. Now, chapter 8 is a bit of a long one, about 22 pages. So I may break this up between 2 sessions. And many of you have mentioned that you enjoy having a kind of a brief discussion at the end of the reading. And so usually whenever we talk about mudra yoga and the methods of prana manipulation, we get quite a good discussion going. So hopefully if you guys have any questions or items you'd like us to address, and feel free to post them in the chat so we can have a discussion happening in if not the second half of today's session, then after we finish chapter 8, we can do a talk on mudras and mudra yoga and other methods of manipulating prana. All right, there's no questions or comments, and let's go ahead and dive into today's reading. Chapter 8, Mudra Yoga, Methods of Pranic Manipulation. Mudra yoga is known as the yoga of mystic hand signs, body gestures, and postures that man uses to help seal and redirect the cosmic energies within the physical body and subtler bodies. Mudra yoga is an advanced form of yoga that helps the practitioner of the mudra yoga technique to create a link between the physical body, the energy bodies, and the mental bodies with the subtle sealing, redirecting, and redistributing of the subtle flow of energies within the body and auric structure. This yoga is built on the known metaphysical science of 1, the Kundalini power within the body, 2, the 108 chakras within the human structure, and 3, the Nadi system, which uses 242,000 Nadi pathways to distribute the sacred power of Kundalini throughout the body and auric structures. The power of Kundalini is the vehicle of consciousness for man's soul. It is the sacred nectar of the chakra bindu, and the sweet sounds of the vibrating nada that rings from the bindu through and from the bijas of the chakras. As stated in earlier chapters, the soul is that part of man that was directed by the spirit of man eons ago, to shape and mold the Shakti power into a force that can be pushed down the Brahma Nadi of Sushumna. Then its shape is molded and wrapped into the 3.5 knot called Kundalini, which is used as a power center or vehicle of consciousness that radiates a small percentage of its power through and around the nadi pathways, using the chakras as intersection points to create various levels of consciousness. The origination point of these nadis is at the base of the spine chakra. It starts from the subtle auric structure and works its way to the gross physical body. The base of spine chakra is the seat of Kundalini, and it is where the nada vibrations radiate from the Kundalini and gives life to Ida and Pingala nadis within the body and auric bodies. These nadis carries these subtle energies throughout the bodies that form the energy patterns, and that becomes the intelligent energy patterns for consciousness that the soul of man works and operates through. It is the background force for the etheric bodies, the mental bodies, prana bodies, astral bodies, and gross physical body. Mudra yoga is a sacred science like mantra sastra. In fact, mudra yoga is a result of mantra sastra. Tantra and mantra sastra tells us that when the practitioner of mantra has greatly indulged himself in mantra japa to the point that he has gained great visions and has achieved kilaka, where he or she has unlocked the key of mantra. At this point, the mantra yogi learns the mudra yoga secrets hidden deep in the root of the mantra bijas. Mantra yoga is that power that gives birth to mudra yoga. Mudra yoga enhances your attitude by bringing about a clearer level of concentration and increases your sensory perception. In this chapter, we will go into the subject of mudra yoga briefly in order to show the usefulness of this ancient metaphysical science in regard to our analogy of the mystic form of prayer. My goal here is to show how the mudra techniques adopted for this prayer technique are a huge added value and an essential part to making it an effective prayer technique that brings about tremendous results. There wasn't much known about this secret metaphysical science of mudra yoga in the Western world until the late 19th century and early 20th century, when the Eastern masters of yoga from India and Tibet began to release their ancient teachings to the Western world. Once this material was made available to the Western world, it was mass-produced and distributed throughout Western society. Although the teachings were diluted, they still expose this part of the world to at least fragments of the ancient metaphysical teachings. Mudra yoga is a form of yoga that is practiced with all the major yoga systems. Hatha yoga uses mudras to strengthen the physical body to allow free flow of prana between the physical and subtle physical realms. Bhakti yoga uses mudras to channel, generate, and project devotional pranas, cosmic energies of love, and cosmic energies of service. Raja yoga uses mudras to assist in bringing about control over the mental faculties. Mantra yoga uses mudras to channel energies through psychic, subtle, and gross matter. Karma yoga, Jnana yoga, Kriya yoga, and Tantra yoga use pranayama mudra techniques to channel energies towards enhancing consciousness. Kundalini yoga uses mudra yoga to seal and lock the flow of pranas in the body while pushing and directing it in one direction with concentration, contemplation, and meditation in order to move consciousness from a lower level to a higher level and back to the original level. Karma yoga is the yoga of divine laws in action and service. Karma and mudra yoga are constantly intertwined. Karma yoga is all about making the right actions that bring about the right results that propel a person forward. Dr. George King stated, "Karma is a pressure towards conformity of the divine laws." Everything in manifestation is within this all-pervasive framework of karmic laws, divine laws of God, that act as a pressure within creation to preserve and maintain the law that pushes all manifested life and so-called non-life towards a predetermined goal. Therefore, all life actions are karmic actions, and all movement is a series of mudras bringing about the necessary karmic actions needed to progress life. Therefore, karma yoga and mudra yoga are intertwined. The 5 groups of mudra yoga. The following are 5 major groups of mudras designed to manipulate the subtle pranas of the body by sealing, redirecting, redistributing, and projecting the subtle energies or pranas, which resulted in elevating the pranas to higher levels of operations of conscious awareness. One second, everyone. Let me see if I can fix something here. I'm not seeing the option. One second, everyone. Oh no, that's not good. All right, never mind. Where was I? Okay. Okay. Number 1, hasta mudras or hand mudras. These types of mudras primarily use the hands to manipulate the flow of subtle pranas within the human body. The hands are normally used to seal, redirect, redistribute, and project subtle pranas of the body. It is usually used to redirect the flow of pranas back into the body and to heighten the level of consciousness. Number 2, mana mudras or head mudras. The mudras that are used with the head are usually used in techniques to heighten the power of Kundalini within the body. The mudra techniques utilize the eyes, ears, nose, tongue, and lips. Number 3, kaya mudras or postural mudras. These mudra practices of kaya utilizes the full physical body in various postures combined with breathing, pranayama, and concentration techniques. Number 4, bandha or lock mudra. The mudra practices of bandha are techniques that locks the body in various positions in order to redirect and redistribute pranas along and down specific channels to get rid of subtle blockages and increase the prana flow to allow an indirect or direct conscious awakening of Kundalini with constant practice. Number 5, Arhara mudras or perennial mudras. These techniques of mudra yoga deal with redirecting pranas operating in the lower chakra regions to upper chakra regions towards the brain, stimulating the higher chakras and purifying the lower chakras, allowing man to reach higher states of consciousness. Most knowledge on mudra yoga is secret and is not allowed to be given to the general public and is only given through initiation. Mudra yoga techniques are very potent and yield fast results. This is why the majority of the knowledge is kept secret and away from the public. Most of the mudras that are secret are those mudras that work along with mantras in some type of ancient ritual that give man access to a tremendous amount of raw Shakti power for short periods of time to perform a task or mission of some type. Being that I was born into a family that studied and practiced ancient metaphysical techniques of this ancient metaphysical teachings of this caliber, I witnessed many miraculous events brought about by the power of mudras. I also heard stories of miraculous events from eyewitness accounts. I have witnessed the power of mudra yoga in full effect, such as mudras used to turn away a tornado that was about to land on an impoverished neighborhood, something that I witnessed as a child, as unbelievable as this may be. Mudra yoga is not just a series of hand gestures. It is a sacred science of yoga that allows man to tap into a tremendous amount of subtle pranas. After witnessing this power of mudra yoga, I made a request to my father, whom I witnessed using this great power, and he had the knowledge of this sacred metaphysical science of mudra yoga to teach me. This chapter on prayer and mudra yoga is a result of my father teaching me this most sacred and misunderstood subject of mudra yoga, and my conducting a detailed study on this subject for a number of years. In the practice of mudra yoga, the whole body, mind, and soul are used in the technique. The fingers, hands, and arm positions are the main focus of mudra yoga. The head, legs, breath, and right mental visualization are also used in mudra yoga. The reason why the main focus is placed on the fingers, hands, and arm position is that the hands are linked to at least 5 of the major chakras along the spinal column through a nadic flow of pranas. The Udana prana is the power used by the mind to create patterns of expression. The flow of Udana prana enters the throat chakra and is centrally located within the throat chakra and travels to the head, arms, and legs to create patterns of expression. Udana prana is the aspect of prana that expresses the conscious patterns of mental and vital levels of prana. The Udana pranas also represents the akasa cosmic element, which is the carrying agent for all pranas. It purifies prana and mind in order to project it to the perspective level or realm of operation. This can be seen in how we move mental thoughts to voice, in how we perceive and receive sound or speech from something or someone and make it part of our mental makeup. All right. Any questions? All right, let's continue. The mudra power of each finger. Each finger is not only a link to the chakras, but also to the flow of the 5 major pranas that follows through the subtle bodies via the nadi system and the chakra system. The fingers and hands also represent the cosmic bhutas, the ancient earth elements of the universe. It also represents the first 5 major chakras along the spinal column, starting from the base chakra up to the throat chakra. In the center of the hands are also major chakras, which are surrounded with a number of minor and minute chakras. We estimate that there are over 20 chakras within the hands, which is a massive designation point for mental and vital energies to express itself in many ways. This can be seen in man's works of art, his engineering capacity, thousands of crafts, and the scientific and philosophical achievements of the human race. The ability of man's strategic maneuvering of his arms and hands responds to an expressed will of the mental and vital commands of his consciousness. During the action technique of the mudras, the arms are used to align the fingers and hands with the flow of pranas and the mental projections emerging from the major chakras along the spinal column. The following table shows the fingers' relationships to the earth elements, tattvic pranic states, 5 major pranas, and the associated chakras with each particular finger. Right, table 8-1, the pranic formation within hands and fingers. First, we come to the thumb. Its earth element is earth, or tattvic pranic state is prithivi. Its major prana is apana. Its associated chakra is the muladhara, or the base of the spine. Next, we have the index finger. Its element is water, or tattvic pranic state, apas. Its major prana is dhyana. Associated chakra is Svadhisthana, or the sex center. Next is the middle finger. Its element is fire. Its tattvic pranic state is Tejas. Its major prana is Samana. Its associated chakra is Manipura, or the solar plexus. Next is the ring finger. Its element is air. Its pranic state is Dhyana. Its major prana is prana. And its associated chakra is the Anahata, or the heart center. And last is the pinky, or the little finger. Its element is ether. Pranic state is Akasa. Its major prana is Udana. Associated chakra is Vishuddha, or the throat chakra. Most of the more popular Hasta Mudra Yoga literature on this subject gets the above arrangement of this energy formation of the fingers wrong. I cannot give you a definite reason why the misinformation is so popular. What I can help with is a simple and logical reasoning why the above table is correct. The thumb is the thickest finger, therefore represents the gross solidness of earth element. The next is the index, and where there is earth, you find water, the two main elements. The middle finger on the hand is the longest finger and represents the third element of fire as the top of the flame. The ring finger is a fitting position for the element air. And the little finger is ether, or space. Now let us look at the logic of this arrangement. The key to understanding the alignment is reviewing it in reverse. Ether creates space and consciousness. Air feeds consciousness in manifestation. Air, oxygen, also feeds fire. Now, ether, air, and fire are the subtle forces behind water and earth. From the synchronization of these cosmic elements, the soul manifests its consciousness on the lower realms of existence. It uses ether, air, and fire to mold and shape the basic elements of water, mental energies, and earth, gross vital energies, to build its various vehicles of expression. The following is a little more insight into the energy configuration of the hand and fingers. The energy configuration of fingers for mudras. The thumb, its subtle energies and etheric elements. The thumb is also the most used finger on the hands. Physical scientists believe that the thumb is the single attribute which separates man from apes. In the mystic world, the thumb represents the gross subtle energy flow of the body. The thumb radiates the subtle apana pranas, which is centrally located at the base of the spine center, or Muladhara chakra. These apana pranas move up from the Muladhara chakra to the solar plexus center, where it intermingles with the other four subtle pranas, which are Samana prana, located at the solar plexus, Prana, which moves down from the heart center, Dhyana prana, which moves up from the sex center to pervade the whole body, and Udana prana, which moves from the throat and head region to the arms and legs. The thumb represents the Prithivi Mahabhutas, cosmic elements, the gross physical substance that connects us to the solid energy patterns of Earth. The thumb also represents the physical and subtle start of consciousness and the vehicle of consciousness, which makes the thumb the trigger force for the 5 pranas, the cosmic elements, and the 5 chakras along the spinal column. This is why in most hasta mudras, the thumb is used to trigger, harness, seal, and restrict the pranas, the bhutas, and 5 associated chakras. On a purely physical level, you can see the energy configuration produced from the use of the thumb, giving man the ability to use intricate tools to develop instruments that express man's intelligence. The thumb represents gross consciousness of man, which is the conscious mind, the unconscious portion of the mind, and the subconscious mind that takes care of the involuntary functions. The index finger, its subtle energies and etheric elements. The second finger, the index finger, is the most flexible finger, which moves in conjunction with the thumb and most other fingers. It is a sustaining force on the hand. Therefore, the second finger represents water, the most flexible and sustaining substance on earth. The second finger is the expression of the Vijnana Prana, which gathers in the sex center and moves throughout the entire body, irrigating the subtle bodies with its subtle cosmic bhutas, apas, or cosmic water. The index finger is aligned with the sex center, or Svadhisthana chakra. With this finger, we can tap into the mental realm of consciousness. It is here where consciousness resides. To control the energy flow of this point, one gains power over basic mental faculties. The moon rules over the mental realms, as it rules the waters of earth with its invisible magnetic power that promotes a low and high tides of earth's bodies of water. The index finger embodies the line of force of the mental realms, where the subconscious mind and conscious mind reside. The Vijnana Prana travels from the sex center, Svadhisthana chakra, through the conjunction point in the solar plexus region and throughout all the central locations of all the major pranas, bringing the cosmic energy patterns of consciousness to all parts of the body. Next, the middle finger, its subtle energies and etheric elements. The third finger, the middle finger, is the longest finger on the hand. This is the finger of fire, heat, and light. It resembles a flame that always reaches up, and when looking at the hand, this finger is the longest or tallest finger, representing and symbolizing the nature of that fiery flame. Therefore, the middle finger represents fire, which is also the expression of samana prana that radiates through the body. The middle finger is linked with the solar plexus center, or Manipura chakra. The middle finger's point of power that man can connect to is the samana pranas, the tijas bhutas, the 10 chakra petals, and the 52 tantric rays of power. Agni power helps to transform solids and purify solids into subtle pranas. This solidified pranas turns into many forms of matter: subtle and visible radiant matter, gaseous matter, liquid matter, cellular type matter, tissue type matter, and organized cellular tissue as organic matter that is heavily laced with instinctive mental energy. These solidified pranas transforms systems, which are a combination of organs under instinctive and intellectual mental energies. The control of this line of force gives one the power of modifying prana and matter, and the power building from within. Next, the ring finger, its subtle energies and etheric elements. Everyone, if I'm going too fast, please let me know in the comments and I'll slow down. The fourth finger, the ring finger, is the second longest finger on the hand. It is the finger of air, the cosmic element. Vijnana Mahabhutas. The sunlight shines down to earth, and its reflected light towers over earth, creating layers of atmosphere. With a series of air bubbles with different thicknesses, air that we live and move and have our being within. Therefore, it is only fitting that the fourth finger is slightly smaller than the fire finger, which represents the reflected light of earth. The finger of air is aligned with the heart center, or Anahata chakra, where the major Mahabhutas, Vijnana, manifests itself as prana and moves down to the Manipura chakra and back up to the Anahata chakra. These points of energies within the lines of force connected to the fourth finger power the psychic heart, which powers the lungs, and the lungs power the physical heart, which feeds the body and consciousness through the actions of the prana and vyana bhutas, vyana prana, apas bhutas, pervading the entire body. The little finger, its subtle energies and etheric elements. The last and fifth finger, little finger, is the smallest finger on the hand and represents the subtlest mahabhutas of all, akasa, or ether, the etheric sound. Akasa is the carrying agent for all manifested matter and prana. It is the energy component that shapes and molds energy. Akasa is the thing that creates the conduit to allow energy to exist and move. Therefore, all space is akasa, and all objects are encased in akasa. Akasa is nada. Akasa is Shakti. Akasa is the universal power of mind. Akasa is cosmic wisdom, Vyana, and Akasa is the preservational power of love. The fifth finger also represents the subtle major prana called Udana Prana. The powerful, subtle Udana Prana is centrally located and radiates from the throat center, or Vishuddha Chakra, and travels from there to the head, arms, hands, and legs, giving power to consciousness, speech, and intelligent movement. It is also fitting that Udana Prana and Akasa radiate from the throat center, being that it is the vortex point of purification, which brings about translation of all power that passed through this point. Chakras in the hands. On top of all this, there is a major chakra located in the center of the hand, which is rarely mentioned by most teachers unless they are advocating some type of pranic healing or prana manipulation through the hands. As you can see, the hands are conversion points of many different levels of vital energies and mental energies. The world of physical science recognizes the formation and development of the hands to be the instrument that actually separates man from apes and monkeys. The development of man's thumbs on the hands allowed man to tap into higher levels of consciousness. This led to him producing more advanced tools, which further led to more complex machinery and delicate instruments, which indicate a more complex thought process. Man's use of the thumbs demonstrated his ability to manipulate intricate tools, allowing him to investigate his environment more and the objects within the environment in a detailed fashion. The physical scientists do not differ too much from the metaphysical science on this subject, because we also believe that man's development of the hands and extremities has helped to awaken man's consciousness. Tantra teachings would describe the hand centers as compaction and conversion of Shakti powers. A series of major, minor, and minute chakras are located within the hands, the vortex energies. A series of major, minor, and minute chakras are located within the hands. The vortex energies entering and exiting this cluster of centers are connected to all parts of the gross and subtle bodies. The hands are a physical triggering mechanism for increasing the flow of prana, decreasing the flow of prana, and sealing the flow of prana, all within the physical and subtle bodies. Here, figure 8-1, diagram of the hand showing the 5 prana associations. And I will show a clear illustrate of this picture of this diagram when we get to the review session. The hands are also a triggering mechanism for manipulating the flow of prana, entering and exiting the chakras, also sealing and redirecting the flow of prana through the chakras. As stated earlier, mudra yoga uses the extremities by applying various degrees of pressure on the body to redistribute the flow of cosmic energies within the body. The main extremities used in most mudras are the arms and hands. The positioning of the arms seems to tap into different levels and frequencies of pranic flow radiating from the earth, the sun, and the moon via the psychic centers, chakras. The hands are used to trigger the flow of prana, or to seal a flow of prana. The hands could also be used to restrict a pranic flow while redirecting the pranic flow and increasing the projection of a pranic flow elsewhere. Essentially, the arms are aligned with the hands, and the stream of pranic flow radiates from or toward the psychic centers or major chakras along the spine. This is done with a series of mudras that manipulate the 5 major pranas. With the science of mudra yoga, concentration, visualization, and pranayama, massive amounts of cosmic energies, pranas, can be manipulated to bring about all types of resources by imposing purpose and direction on the prana being manipulated. Okay. We pause here for any questions or comments. Okay, let's continue. The source and flow of prana for Earthman. The ancient teachings of Tantra Yoga speak of 5 major pranas that radiate from the sun through a sonic vibration of power that pushes these pranas from the solar logos, the sun, in a cycle every 32 minutes. The pranas are radiated from the sun every 32 minutes, and one of the 5 pranas dominates the pranic wave in another cycle for about 3 hours. Each one of these pranas dominates the wave for about 3 hours, allowing its qualities to manifest the subject it's radiating. This cycle repeats itself throughout the day, week, month, and year. This cycle of prana flow is the sustaining power for all persons, places, and things in manifestation. In advanced pranayama, the yogis are taught to harness these pranas by intoning mantras while using mudras and pranayama techniques to sensitize the body and mind to these all-pervasive natural flow of pranas and mind substance. This gives a yogi the ability to pull on large quantities of pranas and use them for specific purposes. Let us look closely at this ancient science briefly in order to bring some type of clarity to this complex subject that's been overlooked and understated in the public tantric science. Thousands of years ago, the masters of yoga sciences knew and understood that the sun of the solar system was the main source of power for all life in the system. These great elevated beings, who held the titles of master, seer, mahadevata, and many more titles of wisdom, described the sources of power that rained down from the mighty sun to become the building blocks of our past, present, and future civilizations. They wrote in the ancient texts that the sun was the god of the solar system, and it is a great living being far beyond our understanding or description. This mighty being called the sun uses its great godlike body, its godlike powers, and its position in the cosmos to pull down the great Shakti power from the Absolute, the Supreme God Source. Then the mighty sun conditions the Shakti power to the right karmic specification in order to create the planets and give the life-giving powers to the lower life forms that take up residence on these planets. The sun releases the creative words that projects waves of massive subtle energies, which creates a blanket of tantric matter that all the planets, moons, and meteorites reside within. The tantric matter or rays being radiated from the sun is one of the primary sources for building and modifying the subtle and gross substances and matter of the solar system, whether it's the five major pranas, the etheric realms, the mental realms, the astral realms, or the physical realm. Within this tantric matter are the Mahabhutas, or cosmic elements of the universe that gives us the character, identity, and unique inherent qualities, which are described as Akasa, Vyana, Agni, Apas, and Prithivi. Excuse me. The following is a little more on the Mahabhutas. The five Mahabhutas, or cosmic elements. Akasa. Number one, Akasa, is described as etheric sound and space, the cosmic element that creates the space and the conduit for all manifested energies and matter in the universe. It is the carrying agent for the four other Mahabhutas. One of the most important aspects of Akasa is that it is described as etheric sound, which indicates that it is part of the original nada wave strung from Shiva, the Absolute, to configure the Shakti power into creation. It can be said that all manifested creation is Akasa and Shakti, because it carries the expressed will of the Absolute to shape and mold Shakti power into the mental realms, the etheric realms, the astral realms, and the physical realms throughout the universe. Vyana, number two, is etheric air, the cosmic element that holds the unique qualities and power of air throughout the universe. This power of Vyana Bhutas also expresses the power of movement. It is the locomotive power of the Bhutas. Therefore, Vyana Bhutas aspect is driving the creative flow of massive forces that act as a wave encased in the initial etheric sound called Akasa to its states of involution and evolution. Number three, Agni, or Tijas, is a cosmic element of etheric light and fire. This aspect of the Mahabhutas wave is the Agni Bhutas, and it holds the power of expansion and transformation. The power of light produced by the Agni Bhutas expands the reach and activity of a manifested creative wave of the Mahabhutas. It holds the power of sight for consciousness. The fire of the Agni Bhutas brings about the power transformation of energies and matter. It allows subtle matter to transform into gross matter, and gross matter to transform back into subtle matter. You have Akasa that forms the intelligent framework of creation that all things are manifested within. Then you have Vyana that feeds off the intelligent framework of Akasa and introduces the power of movement through cosmic etheric air, which moves massive waves of creative power through the universe. And the locomotive move brings forward heat that introduces the etheric fire. Number four, Apas. Apas is etheric water, the cosmic element of liquid. It is the cosmic power for sustaining life, the cosmic nourishment of life, and the cosmic purification of life. This aspect of the Mahabhutas wave introduces a cooling effect on this creative wave, which sustains a series of equilibrium levels that help to harbor consciousness in various realms of existence. Oops. These cosmic energy patterns that produce this quality of energy possesses the properties and attributes of being able to integrate themselves into other forms of energies and countless forms of matter through a continuous series of intermediate forms, maintaining consciousness in them all. Number five, Prithivi. Prithivi is the Mahabhutas that represents the cosmic solids within the universe that manifest the cosmic solids in all realms of existence. Prithivi Bhutas are the gross aspects of cosmic elements within the universe that express solids of the mental realms. These solid pranic configurations, these solid energy patterns of the etheric realms, the solid energy patterns of the astral realms, and the many physical solids of the galaxy, solar systems, and Earth. More information on prana. Prana is the universal life force of all things. It is the power and substance of all things in manifestation. Prana is a part of the initial power released from the Absolute and sent into perpetuating motion to manifest all creation as we know it. The ancient teachings state that God or the Supreme Being spoke the word, and this Shakti prana moved out of a complete static state of endless potential into an active state of manifestation. This prana is set into perpetuating motion by the spoken word, a sound vibration from God, Absolute. This power released from the Absolute stays in constant modification with aspects of the spoken word throughout creation in many forms of expression. All aspects of creation are nothing but variations of the Shakti prana. Man's consciousness, the etheric bodies, the mental bodies, the astral bodies, the physical bodies, and the sea of mind substance that all things exist within are all aspects of Shakti prana. There are only different configurations of prana operating in various vibrational states of consciousness. We want to convey to the reader the nature of prana as it relates to manipulating it through this technique of prayer. The aspect of prana that we address here is the prana that can be manipulated through the etheric and subtle structures of man. In order to express this, we will examine what we know of the etheric, subtle, and physical structure that man can use to manipulate and radiate prana or cosmic energies. The etheric body is considered to be made up of the chakra system, the nadi system, and several levels of the mental bodies that are made up of the nadi knots from the Pingala and Ida nadi configurations. In the theosophical teachings, the etheric body is looked upon as the higher subtle counterpart to man's physical body. In other words, it is a subtle energy body not visible to the physical eyes, but can be recognized from the evidence of man's consciousness. It is believed that the soul of man uses a combination of the chakras and the nadis to produce the mental bodies and the etheric body, which manifests man's higher consciousness. Then the soul uses the etheric consciousness to produce the lower mental bodies, the astral bodies, and the physical body. Excuse me. This is done by the soul taking the Shakti power or prana and pushing it down the Brahmic line of Sushumna, where the full potency of this prana exists undiminished in its full aspect. When the prana falls down to the lowest level in this state of Sushumna, it moves into an energy configuration of 3.5 coils that bring about basic levels of conscious awareness by creating subtle obstructions that serve to inhibit the natural flow and modifications of prana. In the next section, we will go into these inhibited states of pranic consciousness. All right, let me pause here for any questions or comments. And to all those joining us recently, welcome. Today it looks like we just might finish up chapter 8 of the book, The Miracle Kit Behind the Power of Prayer. And as per usual, if you have any questions or comments, you can feel free to post them in the chat. I'll stop periodically to peruse the chat and see if there are any questions or comments and pose them and hopefully get them answered for you. Looks like we just a couple more pages. Looks like we just might finish chapter 8 today. And if so, then next time we'll move into chapter 10. No questions or comments? Let me continue on. The conscious aspect of prana. This energy configuration of the 3.5 coils that the Shakti power forms in order to block the passageway to this Brahmic line of Sushumna, cut it off from the higher states of consciousness. This Brahmic line of Sushumna has This Brahmic line of Sushumna has the perfect environment to allow the Shakti power to flow and exist in its higher state of manifestation. It brings about what is called in tantric teachings as the not whole state of consciousness. This is where the prana or Shakti power moves from a whole state of consciousness to a not whole state of consciousness. This not whole state of prana produces two major flows of prana, a vital flow of prana and a passive flow of prana, which is considered a positive flow of prana called Pingala in Sanskrit terminology, and a negative pranic flow called Ida in Sanskrit terminology. The division of this cosmic energy brings about a magnetic flux toward basic consciousness that sets in motion a series of modifications from this pranic energy configuration of 3.5 coils. The energy configuration of 3.5 coils that the prana or Shakti prana moves into is referred to as Kundalini power or the serpent power, which becomes the vehicle of consciousness that the soul works through as involved consciousness. This Kundalini energy configuration with 3.5 coils pushes the involved consciousness of the soul into states of time and space, which brings about basic consciousness, which produces cycles of life in states of limited consciousness in a framework of awareness that can only be perceived in segments of time that is expressed as past, present, and future. This energy configuration with 3.5 coils also brings about the 3 states known as the walking state, sleeping state, and dreaming state. This division in the cosmic energy or prana is a division in the vehicles of consciousness. This brings about a limited perspective of awareness that places this vehicle of limited consciousness of the soul in a framework of time and space. It further divided its awareness into cycles of existence on various realms or levels of consciousness. This cycle of existence is described as the samsara wheel in Sanskrit terminology, which is a cycle of rebirth that mankind is trapped in. Excuse me. The divided prana creates a huge desire factor that has it wanting to unify itself as one energy again as a full aspect of Shakti power. This divided energy flow is called Ida and Pingala that tries to unify, but is unable to enter the passageway of Sushumna because the Kundalini energy configuration with 3.5 coils has blocked this doorway. So it travels back up both sides of this Brahmic line of Sushumna, trying to enter through the vortex centers of the 6 major chakras along the spine, only to be pulled in and reconfigured, recalibrated, and pushed back out even more separated than before, but conditioned by the chakra and placed on different levels of consciousness each time. This Ida and Pingala flow of energies travels all the way up both sides of the Sushumna line, entering each major chakra along the spine, producing various modifications of the prana that flows through the Ida and Pingala nadis. The movement toward uniting the two flows of energies terminates at the Christ chakra, Ajna chakra, where it finds a level of equilibrium. This can be seen in the presentation of the two petals and the physical brain, which is a receiving and transmission center for passive and vital command signals, and the left and right functioning of the brain. The whole upward movement of the Ida and Pingala flow of energies creates, or may I say, describes a pathway of evolution that mankind must travel toward enlightenment, but through Sushumna. Wait, did I miss something? That mankind must... Okay, no. This is done through proper soul management of the Ida and Pingala flow of energies. The purification of the nadis leads to a clear pathway that allows the two aspects of Ida and Pingala consciousness to flow at their full capacity. This purification of the nadis activates these two flows of energies and awakens the conscious aspect of it, producing basic enlightenment in mankind. The Ida nadis represents the mental life flow of cosmic energies, or pranas, which is the passive aspect. The Pingala nadis represents the vital life flow or cosmic energies of pranas, which is the active aspect. This energy formation of the Kundalini releases a sound vibration that pushes aspects of its consciousness into several levels or realms of existence. In Kundalini Yoga, it is described as the four aspects of sound. The first aspect of sound, prana sound, being released from the dormant state of Kundalini. The second aspect of sound, pasyanti sound, manifests itself at the solar plexus chakra region, which is the manifestation of the first movement of consciousness. The third aspect of sound, madhyama sound, which manifests itself in the heart chakra, is the vibratory aspect of the sound, giving meaning to the Shakti power that expresses itself as mental substance. This is expressed through the petals, letters, that appear on the heart chakra, symbol, or yantra, that lists the alphabetic Sanskrit letters. The final and fourth aspect of sound is the Vakari sound, that manifests itself in the throat chakra and gives mankind the ability to exist in the gross physical realm. Where mankind can translate mind substance or mental thoughts into gross speech. Now, can we see that this Shakti power or pranic energy is the underlying matrix of all creation? There is a lot more that I can say about prana, but on this subject of manipulating this all-pervasive power, my intention is to focus on the human and earthly flow of this cosmic energy known as prana. As I stated earlier, prana or Shakti is the life force of all things, including sentient life. The mystic knowledge within the mudra technique. Okay, I'll pause here because we have a question. Tell me about... this is a good question. Can you tell me about when we don't finish anything, it creates a lot of distortion? What does this mean?
Repeat the question, Dwayne.
So they're asking about when we start something and don't finish it. This creates a lot of distortion. What does that mean? If you can explain that to them.
Yeah, so in mysticism and in the metaphysical world, we're taught that once you start something, you must complete that action, because every action is a magical action in a sense. And the reason why they say magical is because everything in manifestation has a beginning and an end. So when you start something, you must try to the best of your ability to bring it to an end. And if you don't, it becomes it can become a negative samskara within the auric structure of your being. If I'm sure you should know what samskara is. It's like a mental scar on the aura that doesn't have a complete formation. And anything that doesn't have a complete formation, it seeks to have a complete formation. So I hope I'm explaining it properly. So in mudra yoga and mantra yoga, they teach us and in tantra yoga, they teach us to anything you start, you must complete in order for it to have a full body. And when you create something and it has a full body to it, it can pull on the subtle energies of the universe in order to sustain itself. When you don't do it, then it has a rapid decay or a stagnation, and that stagnation can drain from the parts around it. And that's one of the reasons, that could be one of the reasons, or they say it is one of the reasons that we move in cycles of life, because we have built all these negative samskaras within our auric fields, where the aura have to the negative samskara feeds on the physical body, the astral body, and the etheric body, and then you have to dump them and rebuild them and start over again until you get rid of all the negative samskaras. The mantra itself is the japa is called what? Do you remember, Dwayne?
Japa?
Yeah. What is the main things of japa? What is, you remember?
Repetition, or ja, and pa?
Not only repetition is what?
Oh, the destroying of the wheel.
Destroying the what? The wheel. Well, what is the wheel? Because most people don't know.
Oh, some sort of the wheel
of rebirth, right?
Yeah.
The wheel of rebirth. So because why? Because mantra spins the aura to a point where it creates a centrifuge type action. And that centrifuge type action throw off negative samskaras. So you are decoding the body so that eventually, when you destroy enough and be able to raise Kundalini, you can break the wheel of rebirth, where you don't have to cycle yourself in and out of bodies. And when that happens, you ascend in a sense. And when you ascend, the aura, because your aura is it's almost the aura that we see around the body is almost like a wasteland of thought, of unused tabic matter, of unused cosmic energy by us. Is negative, is manas, which is not chitta. Chitta is pure universal mind substance. And what we take this chitta, and we turn it into manas, and this manas is pure mind that's been contaminated by man or woman, that's not pure in its nature. So not pure in its thoughts. It's uncontrolled thoughts that create this wasteful type substance that surrounds the body and feed on the body. It feeds on the body. But when you control the power of Kundalini, and when you raise the power of Kundalini up and down the spine to the point where you can move it from the throat center to the Christ center, and then from the Christ center to the crown center, what happened is you pull all that aura into the body, and you blend it into the astral body, which the astral body begins to disappear and become a part of the etheric body, and the etheric body becomes a part of the auric body, and then you can create a risen a really risen body, which is an ascendant body, and now you're working within the confined laws of karma, and you're not polluting the earth, the solar system, the galaxy, or the universe. You're walking around as an avatar, as an ascendant cosmic master. And that's the goal that we're told that we are looking to reach. So that's one of the reasons, I know it's a long answer, but that's one of the reasons why we must, everything we start, we must finish. I hope that answers your question.
And I kind of want to piggyback off of that if I can, with my personal experience with that. And what we start, we must finish. It's both a rule and a law, right, Nehemiah?
Right. It
Right.
is.
And I emphasize that because you will be made to complete something you start one way or another. At least in my life, I've experienced that where it seems like I'm constantly cycling through things every 10 years or so. Something I started a while ago, didn't finish. Karmically, I'm brought right back to it to either continue where I left off and complete it, or if I don't finish it and leave it again, I'm brought back around, or it seems like in my life, I'm cycling through the same experiences over and over and over again. So it's essential that anything you start, even if, especially if you are, making the decision to begin with spiritual advancement in these practices, that once you start them, Dr. King stressed that, Nehemiah stressed it as well. Once you start these practices, you must follow through and continue with them, especially with like with pranayama, uh, mantra japa, and so forth. Where if you just say start praying and start doing pranayama and then suddenly stop, it can cause a buildup of frustration, which can lead to, like you mentioned in your question, Bipin distortion, other issues that can physically manifest themselves. You will physically feel the manifestation, and it will materialize in many ways, either um, anxiety, headaches, scratching the body, or what have you. There's many ways it could materialize, but it is very important that anything you decide to start or to begin, that you, as Nehemiah stresses to us all the time, predetermine your actions. So if you decide to start something, you predetermine the result that you want to achieve. Work, when you begin, work in such a way that you accomplish that result, complete the action, and then move on. Or it's better that you don't start at all.
Yeah, Dr. George King said it, I mean, which just shows the superior knowledge he have when he described the law of karma. He said, karma is pressure towards conformity. And you can, I know I can write a 300-page book on that, just on those, there's so much impact in that, and that comes right back to what you start, you must finish. Because if not, because it creates a pressure, and it pushes you towards conformity, and that's what the power of karma is, the actions, the laws, the divine laws that governs all actions. We live in cycles, and if we start a cycle, we must finish the cycle.
Okay. I have a second question here. How to transmute sexual energy to ojas? Is it through concentration for prolonged periods of time on a particular subject or object?
It's, the way he formed that, I don't know if that's correct. But anyway, Ojaz is an aspect of Kundalini. It's one of the aspects of Kundalini, and uncontrolled Ojaz creates sexual desire. Well, ojas fall from from the head region down to the lower regions of the body. It brings on a desire for sex. Ojas is subtle energy. It's psychic energy. And psychic energy, behind psychic energy is in the lower regions, it creates a desire for it activates the impurity traits that exist in those levels of consciousness below the heart center. So there's many methods to doing this. Mantra, prayer, right, correct thinking is many methods to doing this. So it's hard to give. You can't give just one method because there's multiple methods to controlling just the sexual energy. But you must control the sexual energy. That's the number one thing when you walk down the road of spiritual attainment. One of the first things you must do is control your sexual desires. And there's in the Dr. George King gives a short lecture on it. It's like an hour, maybe hour and 10 minutes lecture on control your vital fluids. Swami Sivananda wrote a book, I think it's on our website, called Brahma. It's called Brahmachara. It talks about celibacy, and because you must bring about some type of control over your sexual energy and sexual activity in order to develop yourself psychically and spiritually. If not, you risk a lot of things. So you should study up on that. You should study up on that. So there's many methods. I mean, a simple method is if you come into contact with the opposite sex, and that opposite sex turn you on sexually, one of the things you can do is visualize that person as your sister, your mother, and that ease a simple technique like that will ease the sexual tension. Or realize that that person has a mother, has a sister, has a brother, those the redirecting the thought, raising the thought to a higher level of consciousness can help to control the sexual energy. Pulling that thought back into you and burning that thought up with brilliant white and violet colored light can help as well. There's many techniques, and Dr. George King gives techniques, and also Swami Sivananda gives techniques. Yeah, that's the book right there, Dwayne. You see it, The Practice of Brahmacharya.
Yes, if you go to our mysticknowledge.org website and click on ebook library, the first one here, down here, Swami Sivananda is The Practice of Brahmacharya PDF book, and it looks like this when you open it up. Yeah.
Go to the second page, see if he describes it a little bit. Or the third page, the title page.
The publisher's note. Let me go
to right. And what it said is.
Oh, the publisher's note?
Yeah, what he said. It was described as sexual what?
Sex is one of the prominent, most important, absolutely essential aspects of human animal life as a plant. I've read this book in the past, and one of the pieces of advice that Nehemiah gave us when studying these teachings is to separate culture from the teachings.
Yeah.
And so, try to study the essence of what the author is trying to present forward without falling into the cultural aspects of it.
Yeah, go to the first chapter or whatever.
It's a prayer.
Yeah, I think a lot of his students put these books together, although he wrote them, but they did they formatted it and they put a lot of their cultural and political stuff in here, so you have to be careful about that. But you could tell when when the master is talking here.
Yes. That's a good book. A question here. I cannot get a PDF copy of Contact Your Higher Self, the Yoga by Dr. George King. So there should be, actually, let me check really quick. Because I think there is an electronic version that the Their Society publishes of that book. Step one. Let me go to the books. Let me see. Books.
We can't see what you're doing.
Yeah, no, I'm trying to see if I can find it first, and then I'll put it up. So there's Contact Your Higher Self. There may not be an electronic version of that one, but there's another book called Realize Your Inner Potential, which I think they've changed again to King Yoga or something like that, which has the oh no, it is. Okay, let me show you. Okay, so I'm here. So on the Aetherius Society store, well, aetherius.org, aetherius.org website, you click on shop and then books. You'll see this book here, Contact Your Higher Self Through Yoga. That's when you're referencing. Now, it is available as ebook on Amazon. I don't know if it is PDF format. It may be a EPUB format, but if you have any PDF reader, it can also open EPUB format. Amazon may have it as a Kindle, a version, which you have to download the Kindle app to be able to read that there, or other open source third-party apps can allow you to read it as well. But I do not know if there is a PDF version. Maybe Apple Books has it in PDF. I don't know. Yeah, you can go to the Aetherius Society website, go to the bookstore, and there are ebook versions of it. And between these 4 stores, there should be a version that you're able to open, either EPUB or a Kindle version, or whichever one works best for you. Okay. Any more questions? Let's see, we've got a couple more pages. I believe this is the last section. Yes, it's the last section. All right, again, everyone, if I am going too fast, if I'm reading too quickly, please let me know. And in subsequent sessions, I'll slow it down. I know not everyone who tunes into us, English is their first language. So if you need me to slow down, or to spend some more time reading through these chapters, do let me know. And it's not a problem for me. I'll be happy to accommodate. The mystic knowledge within the mudra technique. Right, stand erect with the spinal column straight, head held slightly up as well, with the eyes closed. Hold the arms now to the side and place the hands in a clenched fist position with the thumbs inserted in the fists. The spine is held straight to align the 6 major chakras and to align the subtle energy. Excuse me. The arms are held to the side of the body to calm down the chakras and redirect the subtle energy activities within the 6 major chakras along the spine. The hands are held in a clenched fist position with the thumbs inserted in the fists. I locked up here. This clenched fist mudra with the thumb inserted within it is a mudra technique that seals the subtle energies, pranas, within the body while increasing the active kundalini within the body. The eyes are closed in this mudra technique to focus on the imagination and visualization component, which is making a mental command on the all-pervasive subtle energies, pranas, to pull down into the auric and physical structure to be impregnated with the prayer's purpose and direction, then projected to a target. Controlled imagination has the unique ability to mold and shape subtle pranas within the mental and physical bodies. This is clearly seen in and through the waves of emotions that accompany various thought patterns. Mind molds subtle prana and gross matter. The imagination technique here is used to relax the mind first and prepare it to draw in. I think I just lost power. Nope. I think I'm good. The imagine technique here is used to relax the mind first and prepare it to draw in pure subtle prana that can be impregnated with the purpose and direction of the prayer. Controlled imagination and visualization are used to imagine a brilliant pure white light coming down from the upper atmosphere into your auric structure, and then visualize that this pure white light of subtle energies is being impregnated with purpose and direction from the words, phrases, and sentences of the prayer spoken with reverence and great selfless spiritual intent. A coherent sound is evidence of consciousness. Man's consciousness is a direct result of Kundalini, the primary life force of energies of the body. Kundalini is the vehicle of consciousness. All things move with consciousness and power energies, and they are one and the same. The impregnated prayer energies are projected through another mudra technique, which has the prayer practitioner raising the arms up to the chest level, which helps to activate the heart chakra to allow a free flow of energies through the heart chakra and extremities and out through the open palms and fingertips. The prayer practitioner creates the proper conduit through imagination and visualization in order to pull down the pure subtle energies and impregnate them with spiritual, selfless, and personal love energies that are used to project and sustain the prayer energies to its target. This technique requires the prayer practitioner to make a mental command to radiate spiritual prayer energies through the upper chakras and impregnate it with the right mental intent, with the correct balanced words, phrases, and sentences of a prayer that produces ultra-positive energies to be projected toward its target to bring about the proper results. This mudra is called Abhaya mudra. or the mudra that radiates huge amounts of cosmic energies on several planes of existence when used properly. This mudra creates a free flow of pranas through the chakras of the hands, which are connected to at least 5 major chakras along the spinal column through the subtle lines of force called the nadis. The lifting of the arms, as indicated in position 2, this one, above, of the mudra yoga technique helps to activate the flow of energy toward the heart chakra and allows us a clear channel to push this prayer energy through the heart center, the arms, and the hands. The mudra also allows you to either stand or sit down while performing it, but the spine must be straight with either method to allow the subtle pranas an unrestricted path. The mystic prayer technique uses this mudra yoga procedure to seal, redirect, and redistribute the prayer power energies generated and configured with the direction and purpose of a well-balanced prayer toward a person, place, or thing. Subtle energies, or pranas, being projected through this mystic technique of prayer use several ancient forms of yoga to achieve this concentrated projection of subtle energies, pranas. This includes Jnana Yoga, Karma Yoga, Raja Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, and Mudra Yoga. Through the use of these yoga sciences, the prayer practitioner uses mind energies to mold, shape, and hold the flow of prayer energies together in order to project this stream of impregnated subtle energies out toward its target. The mind energies introduce purpose and direction into the flow of prayer power. The mind energies within the flow of prana act as a design specification for the prayer energy being projected. The love energies introduced into the projected flow of prayer energies have a preserving effect on the prayer energies being projected. These elevated love energies preserve the flow of prayer energies, power from point A, the person forming the prayer, to point B, the target of the prayer energies. Okay? And that will take us into chapter 9, the mystic prayer technique. And chapter 9, we will cover separately in a mystic prayer workshop, which will be announced soon, very soon, because we only have 2 chapters left. And chapter 10, let's see, chapter 10 is just scrolling down here, but saving you guys the vertigo of running through all of those pages. Chapter 10 is the flow of prana through prayer. So we'll pick up with chapter 10 next time. Also, if you're reading along, which I highly recommend, getting a copy of the book, reading along with us, we're picking up with chapter 10 in the next session. If you do have any questions or comments about the material we've covered so far or upcoming material, feel free to ask us in the chat, or you can send us an email, even if we haven't gotten to yet. So if you have any questions on chapter 10 or chapter 11, or even on chapter 9, you can send it to us and we'll answer that as well. Here's a question here. Okay, so the question is it true that the more conscious we become, the more energy starts to flow upwards? And part 2 of the question, how can we upgrade our aura and make it more magnetic? Is it through good virtues and qualities? Actually, Dr. King has a lecture on that.
What was the first question?
The first question, is it true that the more conscious we become, the more energy starts to flow upwards?
Um,
I don't
yeah,
think conscious is the right word there, but I
yeah,
understand
I
what you're
mean,
saying.
yeah, the more we realize truth, I think is a better way of understanding.
Yeah.
Because people can be conscious, but be conscious of the wrong things. You know, when you look at truth, if you put truth on a table or scale, you'll have truth in the middle. At the top, you'll have realized truth. At the bottom, you'll have learned truth. And on one side, you'll have part truth, and the other side, you'll have modified truth. And that's how man lives. It's ridiculous, but that's how we move out into the world, you know. And the conscious person, which is always slightly unconscious to a certain degree, they latch on to the truth that they want to claim as truth instead of the truth that can make things happen every single time. In other words, like we know that if we know that if we hold on, I'm having some problems here. We know that if we take hydrogen and oxygen and to bring it together, we can produce water. That's truth. You know, we know that if we have a vehicle and we make sure that that vehicle have water or gas and a regular checkup, then that vehicle can be used be used to transport us without many problems, and it will last a long time. That's truth. But yet, people will, when it comes to certain truth, they don't want to adhere to it. They want to create their own version of truth or accept parts of the truth. You know, so that, you know, that becomes a problem. So consciousness in the light of awareness of awareness of hardcore truth that brings results from applied actions and and uh and that you can predetermine all your actions in the future in order to bring about the results. That's the type that those are the things that allow you to control the flow of energy, the flow of subtle energy and gross energies to the point where you can bring about psychic and spiritual development.
And the second part of this question, I think you kind of said it too, is how can we upgrade our aura and make it more magnetic? Is it through good virtues and qualities? That's
Well,
what I was thinking.
we talk about that all the time. I mean, one of the main things that Dr. King made simple to people, and most of the cosmic beings, but I think Dr. George King made it so simple that a child can understand it, is that we must purify the aura. We must purify the aura. So everything we do, the prayer this prayer techniques helps to purify the aura. Mantra helps to purify the aura. Healing helps to purify the aura. Deep breathing helps to purify the aura, and especially the deep breathing that Dr. King gave with the so-called affirmations or mantras uh, that he made so simple and so to the point, you know, which is balanced affirmations along with the intake and regulation of breath and the visualization that goes along with it. So those things help to destroy what the ancient yoga science called the impurity traits, the 20 to 21 imperative traits that they list that lead us down the wrong road and create the negative samskaras within our aura. It purifies our aura of those things. It helps us to decode the aura and replace it with spiritual energies and spiritual thought. So everything, all mystic practices it lean towards purifying the aura, so you have a free flow of psychic quality psychic energy flowing through the body, flowing through the nadis. Hope that answers your question.
Anatomy, there is a lecture by Dr. George King on enhancing your personal magnetism. Let me see here. This is one of many lectures where he talks about what Nehemiah was describing. This one came to mind as I was reading your question. How to enhance your personal magnetism. And you can find it at cloud.ethereus.org, and you can listen to it there, as well as other lectures. Develop your clairvoyant powers, tactics of defense, and so on and so forth. Do we have any other questions or comments before we close out today's session? And we covered quite a bit today. So I'll pause for a bit and wait for you guys to pose any questions you may have. As I mentioned, next time or next session, we'll pick up with chapter 10. And let's see, I don't foresee this one taking too long. On chapter 10, chapter 11, and then we'll review a couple of prayers. We'll do a review and Q&A session to wrap up a study of the text. So after we finish chapter 11, we'll do a review and Q&A session. And then we'll do a review in light of our study on the mystic prayer technique. We'll take a look at a couple of mystic prayers. One being prayer for spiritual workers, is the prayer that we recite at the beginning of class. And the New Lord's Prayer, the other prayer that we recite at the end of class. So we'll do a study of those prayers, and then I'll also have very soon an announcement on the prayer workshop that we'll do, which will cover chapter 9 and do a couple of in-person sessions. We'll do a 12 blessings and some of the other prayers that are included in the library released from the Aether Society. Most likely we'll have it at FIU, the location where we used to hold our classes and sessions. But I'll send out a formal announcement very soon and let everyone know and give everyone time to prepare and join us for that session. All right, so are there any final questions or comments? Is that out of the way? Yeah, so our email is mysticknowledgecenter, all one word, @gmail.com. Let me see if I can paste it in the chat for you. So in the chat, I've posted our email address, mysticknowledgecenter@gmail.com. You can email us there. Okay. No further questions. Let us close out today's session with reciting the New Lord Prayer, one of the two prayers that we'll study once we've completed the text. Oh. Can you guys see the prayer? It looks kind of blurry on my end. Okay. New Lord's Prayer. O divine and wondrous Spirit, O everlasting Lord of hosts, send forth now through me thy great and lasting power. Allow me, Almighty God, the lasting privilege of radiating to all the world thy great love, so that those who suffer may be given the power and energy to rise above their weaknesses. Almighty God, in great humility do I ask you to send forth your power to give to me this great lasting privilege of being a channel, so that my suffering brothers may be helped and guided and healed and lifted into thy light, so that they who know not may look up, and in doing so receive to their higher selves your divine counsel. Almighty God, this day have you granted me a divine privilege. I ask you now to give to me the strength, so that never again will I turn from my inner vision of you. Oh, great peace, great peace, great peace. In praise of your greatness, O God, doth my soul sing. Grant it energy to sing on forever and forever. All right. Thank you very much, everyone, for your kind attendance and participation. And again, if you have any additional questions or comments or suggestions or recommendations, feel free to email us at our email address, mysticandlovecenter@gmail.com. I posted our email address in the chat. And if you can, do pick up a copy of the book, The Miracle Kit Behind the Power of Prayer. It's available on Amazon as well on Google Books. Anything else? No, I think that's it. Thank you very much, and we'll see you next time. Take care.